Alright, so what we've got is a problem with our dryer where it's making horrible noises when it runs. The drum is rattling even though there's not a load in there. And I think what's wrong is one of the rollers or one of the roller bearings has failed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart and then we're going to take a look inside and see what we find.
Should we demonstrate so they can hear what it sounds like
first,
sure. Before and after?
Nothing in there, it shouldn't sound like that. So we're going to take it apart, find out what's wrong. First thing we need to do is open the lunch trap, clean it out, suck all this out, and you're going to find 2 screws on here. And I should say this is an Inglis dryer. It's very similar to an LG. In fact, it's probably similar to a lot of models because they're all made by the same companies. But anyway, we find 2 Phillips screws in here. Just get them undone. Try not to drop them down the chute because that'll be a good start to a bad day. And once you get those 2 screws out, there's 2 hidden clips here and here under the lip of the dryer. And what's going to happen is this entire top is going to hinge up. There's 2 hinges in the back side. And what you want to look for here, about 1 inch in from the side, is a little plastic clip with little fingers. And you want to slide the putty knife on top of the fingers and then pop it up. You may have to pull the top of the dryer in to get the cap undone. So we'll find that here. It looks like it's there. And then pop it up. Same on this side. About there. Now we've got access to the inside. So I'm going to have to prop this up so that I can get in there. And then we have some screws on the front panel here that we're going to take out. Okay, so now we have that up. There's 2 bolts on the inside here. And they're 5/16. And from that we should be able to take off the front panel. So I've just got this adapter for my Pickwick that I can use to take those bolts out. Before we take the last bolt out, there's actually a connector here that we want to undo, which I can just use my putty knife. Slide in.
What's the purpose of the connector?
The connector is for the door switch. So it just detects when the door is open and shuts off the dryer. Which is probably worth noting, I should have the dryer unplugged for this.
Did you unplug it?
I did not unplug the dryer. I'm going to unplug the dryer shortly.
Should have done that first.
Should have done it first. But now this clip is a bit tricky because it's got hooks on both sides. Comes undone like that.
So if you electrocute yourself, do I stop filming or do I just
Oh hell no!
keep going?
That's quality YouTube right
and
there.
you're a cautionary tale.
Yeah. Now it's unplugged.
Thanks.
So I take out this other screw here, and our front panel should come off.
In case anyone's wondering why we're missing some drywall in the back, it's because that whole wall is being redone. We had to take a part out in order to fix something in the bathroom. We figured no point in replacing it when we're just gonna redo this whole wall for a month or so.
So this just lifts off. And you can see all the crap that collects in the dryer over time.
Oh my goodness.
This is a perfect opportunity to clean out the dryer.
Is that a shell?
And also build up a retirement fund.
Is that a shell casing on the ground?
No, it's not. This is
okay.
This is a tool. Maybe from the previous person who tried to fix this. Let's see, we got another penny in here. Looks like maybe a quarter.
Ooh.
Oh no, it's a nickel.
Aw.
Well, no other real good stuff. A little bit more change. I think I've got a dime here. Anyway, needs a date with the vacuum cleaner, so we'll get that done before we reassemble. Now, the rollers in question are underneath. Right there. No, actually right there. That's our wheel right there. So I'm going to rotate this and you see if you can see the problem. See how it's not round?
Oh, wow.
See how it's like really not round? That's why it's going thump, thump, thump. It's because it's shaped like a football. So I think I either need to replace that wheel or fix it. So we're going to see what we can do to get that off and then repair it. So I need to get the drum out of the way, which I believe it just lifts off. And we have this belt up here. And the belt is what runs the drum. The belt is actually this huge belt that's wrapped around the drum and just runs it continuously. So, if I unhook our belt, we have a tensioner down here on the wheel of the motor. There we go. That's our belt off. Remove the drum assembly.
Look, there's more money.
And there's more money. Look, there is a quarter.
Oh, gross.
Tire.
That's pretty yucky.
Hey, there's a loonie.
Oh, yeah, he's fixing my my dryer.
There's 2 loonies and a nail. How about that? Yeah, so this needs to get all sucked out. And it's probably good to do this like annually. Just go in here and suck out all this crap. Because this is not good. Anyway, this is our fault right here. That is absolutely horrible.
There is not even any semblance of round anymore.
No. And it looks like that's because the rubber wheels just completely failed. So I'll have to see about ordering a replacement because there's no fixing that. It's trashed.
So
you can see there's little shreds of rubber here.
Yeah.
All over the place. So I'll have to see about
I'm glad that that's rubber pieces and not like metal droppings or something. That's what I thought it was when you first pulled it off. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. So what we'll do is we'll see about ordering 2 replacement rollers and then reassemble the dryer, and then we'll come back and show how that works. Alright, so we got our new parts in and ready for install. We've got these trashed old wheels and these nice new wheels. They look a bit different, but they're the same size, same diameter bearing. They'll fit just fine. We also got a new tension roller while we're there because it was all in one kit, and a new belt for the drum. So we'll install all those parts in a minute. First thing we need to do is remove this other wheel, which is still installed. We're going to do that with our 5/16 wrench, or screwdriver in this case. And we're going to remove this support bracket. Just one screw in the bottom. Get that out of the way. And this comes off with a bit of a wiggle and the putty knife. So this is just a spring washer that holds tension, and we just need to kind of wiggle it back and forth to get to pop off of the shaft here.
So that must be why it failed, because it's not spring anymore. Now it's winter.
That's right. So get that off of there. Now we have this plastic triangle, the same as the other side. Let's get the putty knife in there and pop it off of this post. Ideally without breaking it.
I did not buy extra triangles, so don't break it.
Alright. And there's lots of gross hair and scuzz on that. So we'll need to get that off of there as well. There's actually so much here that the wheel won't come off without removing this. And this is probably
Wow, can you hold that up?
part of why the bearing
Nasty.
failed, is it just got packed up with all this hair and scuzz. You can see there's all kinds of black grease all over this, and we're going to clean that off and replace it with new grease. Okay, just going to grab a paper towel, clean this off. We should be left with a shiny bearing surface when we're done here. It's probably going to be discolored from years of spinning, but that's okay, as long as it's smooth.
That's right, you polished that shaft.
Yes. Okay, so that's clean. What we're going to do is I'm going to use this type of grease, the super lube. You can get this at the hardware store. It's food safe, so you can use it in mixers and stuff. And it's very durable. Works in a lot of conditions. A little bit on there. A little bit on there.
That's the same stuff that you used for the video where you took apart the stand mixer that we got.
I used it for the stand mixer. I use this stuff for everything.
In case you like
Works
to
on
buy...
brakes too.
Oh. In case you like to buy used kitchen appliances, I highly recommend that you take them apart and clean them, because every time we have bought a used stand mixer, we have found all manner of horrendous things inside there. Maybe Rob will put a link to those videos in case you're curious of what we find inside the stand mixers.
Okay, these are turning great. So now the
Much
assembly
too.
is just the reverse of how we took it off. We're going to put these triangles back on, and they just snap in place.
Did you already put on the triangle that was in the back?
Oh, the back triangle I never took off.
Okay.
Yeah. I do need the triangle for this front rail here, though, which is somewhere. I may have misplaced a triangle.
Hopefully
Well, we'll
cat
find that in a
didn't
minute.
Take it. It's in that pile of junk.
I thought it was in here somewhere, but we'll find it. So what we'll do is we will reassemble this with the post here. Put the post on, kind of line it up with the hole there. We're going to push the spring washer on. And all this does is just hold that in contact. And then we'll put our 5/16 bolt back in. That one's reassembled. We need to find our other triangle. Then we can reassemble that. Alright, so we just spent like 20 minutes looking for this little piece of plastic. So when it comes time to take it all apart, go and get the parts, and then come back and try to reassemble, make sure you've put this and your screws and your parts somewhere where you can find them and where your pets and children and whatever else might not move them, or yourself. Anyway, back to the repair. So we're just going to stick this triangle onto the spindle here. Just like that. And this one just floats here. And the idea is that this one holds the alignment and this one's just an idler. So we're just going to put that approximately the same distance away as this one here, and it'll self-center. So that's perfectly fine. Now what we need to do is put our idler in place, which goes like that. It just kind of flops it. What's going to hold this in place is actually the tension of the drum and the belt assembly. So that's our next thing to put in. So we're going to set the drum in place with the new belt on it, loosely. We want to put that with the rib side in. The ribs line up with the ribs on the motor shaft, and that's what drives your drum around. So we'll put this on the drum without twisting it. And then we set the drum in place.
So can you describe
So what we're doing here,
how you got it in place? Because I'm watching, I don't even quite understand
So-
what in place is or how you
there's
determined that.
round cutouts here in the front where you can insert the drum into the chassis.
Okay.
And what we want to do, if you want to bring the camera up here, what we're doing is we're just setting the drum down on the rollers and then lining this fabric gasket up with this wear surface here, just like that.
Okay.
So that's where it's going to ride. It's just going to roll like this while it's drying clothes. That's all it's got to do. And what's going to hold this in place is the actual belt and its tension against the motor, which unfortunately the belt popped off, but it's easy enough to put back on. Slide this on. And you can see where the other belt was riding, so it's pretty easy to get the alignment. It'll self-center. just making sure the belt's not twisted anywhere on the drum.
So then how do you get the belt hooked up to the drive motor?
So what we're going to do now is we're going to put this belt over our motor, and our pulley that puts tension is just going to sit in here like that. So that's too loose. So what's going on? All right, so we've looked at our belt routing to figure out how we had it set up before, and it's always a good idea when you're taking something apart to take pictures. Make sure that you document what you're doing, so in case you run into a situation like this and you don't remember how it goes back together, you can fix it. Otherwise, you got to look at my video and see how I did it. So what we're going to do is just down here, I have installed the tensioner, which we have the old one here somewhere I can demonstrate with.
I kicked it off the
So we have this tensioner. Okay, we got that tensioner. And what this is going to do is this is going to apply spring tension to the belt like this. And what we need to do is loop the belt through this gap here. And this is a bit tricky. You kind of need 3 hands for this. Let's see if I can just get my hands in the way. We want to push on the pulley and get the belt around the pulley on the motor. Like this. I just kind of want to hook it on there.
I get the impression this is easier to do if you're not trying to move around a person with a camera as well.
Yes. So I'm trying to get my hands in here without blocking what you can see.
It's okay.
And then we're going to get this belt onto the motor pulley like that.
Done.
And that's assembled. The tensioner is going to keep that belt tight against the drum so that when the drum rotates, everything turns freely. And that's it. That's job done. So now we just need to reassemble the dryer and give it a test.
It feels like it's sagging towards the front though.
It is sagging because I just let go of it. So what holds it in place here is the rest of the bits. So we need to get that reassembled.
Okay. So we don't have to worry about that?
Nope.
Okay.
So first things first, we're going to put the door back on. The door has another bearing surface here that works as a seal and is also covered all kinds of fluff, which we probably should clean more often.
I'm honestly surprised that this is more full of pet hair than it is of hay. I thought we'd have like half a bale in here.
And what we're going to do is just the reverse of installation. The front panel hooks onto the machine here and then pivots into place, and we put our 2 screws in to hold it where it is.
And what about the connector thingy
The
for
connector
opening the
thingy
door?
we'll do last once it's all screwed in. So if you want to come around this side, you can see where I'm going to hook this on.
Sure.
So right here, these 2 black parts of the machine are our hinge points. They go into these square recesses in the sheet metal. Oh,
So
make sure your tools are out of the way. That's 1 and 2.
You can count.
Yes. So we're going to tip the drum back against the seal, and then we're just going to put the door, or the front panel here, into place. And it's just going to rest against that, like that. That's going to be able to spin. So now while we're holding this in place, we need to grab our screws and get them lined up.
You sure you don't want to drop those down there and have to take it all apart again?
It's a good idea if you want extra practice, but not recommended. I'm just going to start these by hand, and then I'll grab the wrench. Okay. That started, it'll hold in place. So now I can grab my screwdriver with my wrench bit. I'm going to put this one in here. And this one in here. Now we can reconnect the door switch, which is keyed, so you can't put it the wrong way.
Challenge accepted.
And that's done. This all looks good. Now we can pivot the top down, latch it back in, plug in the dryer, give it a try. Oh, before we do that, we need to reattach the duct here.
You're almost standing on the filter, by the way.
I don't recommend dropping these down the chute.
Would that go right outside into the snow?
No, I wouldn't. But it does mean you get to have the experience of taking off the back panel as well as the front panel.
Should we take off the back panel and
I'm
clean
not
it
going
out?
to take off the back panel.
Okay. It's a problem for future Rob.
That's right. Okay. That's all right. Put the screen back in. Now we can do the power. And we can test it. And that
Oh, that's way quieter.
is much quieter.
Yeah.
You can actually hear me talk over before. Last time what we had to do was we had to... Oh, you know what? We have this front panel assembled incorrectly. One of these hooks came undone.
Uh-oh.
So let's correct that. The door switch is working. Everything's nice.
Except for that one front
I
panel.
will fix that front clip, but other than that, the repair is complete. So that's all there is to it.
Can I get a big smile, buddy? Are you helping Dad? Yeah?
Watch your fingers.
You don't want to feed your fingers to the machine.
That's right.
But Dad might have wanted to.
You think Dad wants to feed his fingers to the machine?
Sometimes you just have to pay a sacrifice to the machine gods. Sometimes they demand a finger.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Is it so nice and quiet now, buddy?
It's not rattling our teeth out.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a herd of elephants tromping through the house. Did Dad do a good job?
Nice.
Yeah.